Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. Rob, have you ever heard the phrase, turn that frown upside down?
I have.
Well, that's this whole episode. Sometimes it's a chore, but you're going to have to turn that frown upside down, my friend.
Absolutely. You don't want to be around, we get enough negative stuff on the everyday news, right? When we come to work and we're around our friends and co-workers, no. What's that saying again?
Turn that frown upside down.
Upside down.
That's right.
I like it. I need to get one of my buttons made like that.
And it's so much easier to smile than it is to frown. Do you know, the number of muscles is double to frown than it is to smile? Something like that. I'm making that up, but it was meaningful.
Absolutely. I've heard that same stat. But it's all about developing that positive mental attitude. The glass is half full or half empty. What kind of person are you? But yes, human reality is we're going to have some down days.
Yeah, and we are. And don't bring them into a professional environment. So today's episode is all about leaving the problems behind you.
Absolutely.
Right? Leave them at the door, leave that baggage behind, put it in the trunk, and get in there with a big fat smile on your face, even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't do that, I'd say stay at home. Stay at home. You don't want to ruin your reputation and be known as the negative person. So yeah, just chill out.
When I was thinking about this, Rob, it occurred to me just different situations that can pop up that can lead to being too transparent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true.
What situations are you in professionally that you let your guard down and you're probably too transparent? Maybe say things you shouldn't say, maybe.
Well, I think that's a really good point, Sheryl. But I'm kind of a guarded person anyways, where I don't let even around close friends and that, I've been very, very protective of what I tell people or show people. I think that's one of the things that, again, maybe I got to work on, where I'm too closed-minded, very careful, because again, it's that whole thing is if you're too transparent. And people are blabbers.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm sort of a private person from that regard.
Well, I guess that could bode well in these situations. But I was really just thinking about the situations over my life. And when am I too transparent versus when am I not? And I feel so my radio days, I'm going to go back to that. You start dialing forward to I was 30 years, right? So probably about the 15-year mark. And I'm with a group at that point, probably 5 years already. And they start being family, right? So you go into a sales meeting, you go into the office, you go to the coffee pot, and you start wearing the bad stuff that happened at home.
Okay.
And you wear it on your sleeve when you're going into the office. So somebody says, "How are you today?" You want to be honest with them. Oh my gosh, I had the worst night's sleep. My dog barked. My spouse yelled at me. My car didn't start. You know what I mean?
Right.
But do people want to hear that?
Right. No, not at all. Not at all. No.
So I think there's a struggle with, and today you want to have an honest answer.
Right.
But does your honest answer have to include all the baggage of your day?
Yeah, I agree. I might go overboard on the other side where, again, I don't want to show any negative stuff at all. And I think you've got, by being transparent and being real, I guess, there's a fine line between being realistic and transparent. And it's like everything else in life, you got to balance that off. But, that's something I work hard on, is that positive mental attitude, the mindset.
So as we dive into some of these areas, so we've got several areas. Let's see, we've got 5 that we're going to break down real quick. And I was just thinking about, it's important when we're in groups of people that we've known for some time, that we treat that as a fresh opportunity, that we don't think about, oh man, I know they know all the stuff I've been going through, so I'm just going to blah.
Right.
I'm just going to throw it all out there, because that's not the time to do it.
Right.
There might be a time to do it, but they're in the middle of the professional environment is not the time to do it.
Right.
So I know I've seen people walk into networking groups that are, you're like, how are you? Oh my gosh, I had the worst week ever. You're like, okay, that's sad. I'm sad. Next. So anyway, so there's a way to be honest without bringing the room down. And then there's a time to be really honest with your friends, but being in the professional group environment is not the time.
Right, exactly.
So treat your old friends like new acquaintances, like a fresh start, and leave that bad day at the door. So here's number one: reset your energy before entering the event or the room or the situation.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
I mean, I really do this in the sense that I'm in my car and I pulled into the parking lot, got my space, put it in park, and I reset. I really do. I don't know if it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I'm gearing myself up for the event. Like some of the bad stuff you're throwing out the door, and I'm gearing up. A lot of times I'll know, who the host is going to be, what types of people are coming. Did I invite someone there I want to, meet? Yeah. So I'm kind of gearing up. It's game time.
Yeah.
I want to get ready, and I think it's important to kind of reset yourself before you go into the door.
So practically, though, you're saying you reset, but what do you do to reset yourself?
I think it's like positive affirmations.
My name's Rob, and I like me. That kind of. So that's good. Okay. All right. Now that I know.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Here are some tips that you can introduce if you don't know what to do. And take deep breaths.
Okay.
I know breathing exercises are huge because being in group situations can be very anxious for a lot of people. And I'm going to go here, but especially to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's a lot of anxiety that they're dealing with. And then you throw them into a situation where they might already be predisposed to being anxious. And now they're in a situation that they're unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
So the anxiety can elevate. Breathing, so huge. I learned a lot of that in scuba diving, just the value, and martial arts teaches that a lot.
Well, especially on the young people's side, is that they have less people contact, than other generations. So just being among people itself.
Yeah, I know a guy I met through networking. His name is Dave Gieselman, who was here, right? And what he does, he lives in SoCal, but he teaches deep breathing. Like he has whole classes on breathing. It's that important. Do a quick gratitude check.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think, that's so important just for any part of your day, whether you're going to a networking, start your day off that way, because again, being so thankful for the things that we've been given and, living. For me, it's like living in the United States. I am so thankful that my father transferred from Canada to the United States. Great country to be here. I'm so lucky.
Yeah, that is good. And even if things are going wrong, you still have an opportunity to find the better side of that. Oh my gosh, I had a flat tire on my way over here. Or it could be the gratitude check would be, I'm so thankful my flat tire was in the parking lot and there was somebody who could help me change it.
Right.
So it's about the way you look at it, right? So that gratitude check I think is really important. The power pose. So physically standing up and being in a power position as opposed to the slumped over, slumpy dumpy, slumpy dumpy, dumpy, slumpy dumpy,
slumpy dumpy.
That's right. All right, number 2, change your mindset.
That's key. That's key for me. I love it. I always like to talk about the positive, having a positive mental attitude. It's the books you read, the people you hang out with. Your positive affirmations. It's a practice. It's a ritual that you need to make part of that of your day is develop that daily routine to keep that mindset in proper check.
Absolutely. And you said this in the last one, but it applies here, at least in this list. And that's when you're changing your mindset, reframe the event to not be one of an obligation, but to be one of an opportunity.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, and I'm going to go to like reframing my mindset. We talked about this last year sometime when I was sitting in a parking lot and I promised somebody I'd go to that event. I'm like, I don't even remember who I told I'd go to this event. Who was that? And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I know anybody here. I'm just going to put the car in reverse and go on home. I'd already been to 3 networking events. I kind of felt networked out. And as I'm driving through the parking lot, bailing on my commitment, I said, Sheryl, don't be that person that you don't like, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like people they bail on their commitment. So you know what? Go do what you tell people to do. Yeah. So pulled into another space, walked into the building and found some fast friends who were looking for the same place I was looking for, right? And then the 3 of us got to chat. We became elevator buddies, walked around, introduced, and it ended up being an awesome night. So, but I had to reframe my mindset.
Yeah.
I did have to reframe that.
After I heard that story from you, is that, I mean, I had a similar experience too, where I had a networking event, really didn't want to go, but I had said I was going to be there. Same thing happened, But again, it turned out to be such a great evening because I met, like you say, 3 or 4 people. One person actually turned in to become a member at the meeting place, and it does things here. So it all works out.
Yeah, it does. So number 3 is use a transition ritual, which you talked about, and that's, you take a minute to kind of reframe and reset yourself. Some people use music. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Motivational podcasts. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. That's kind of what I like to go to. I like to also, so for me, I want to be mindful of lifting up the leadership. So I'll spend a minute just in kind of prayer time for me and just really lifting up the leader and being thankful for the opportunity that's coming to me. So that just gets my mind into a better position. Physically shaking it off. Like, okay, so I went to the biblical side. I'll make this mention too.
How do you do that?
In the biblical side, like there's Peter, shake the dust off your feet. Like the people in that town hated you, so get off, right? So that's a biblical a biblical move that you can make that I think applies to everyday life, and it's just shake the dirt off your feet, right? They hated you. It's okay. Move on and go find somebody else. I had a manager, my first manager. He used to physically think of the door that he's walking into or out of as being like a magnetic pulse or something, and it would remove all of the junk that had happened to him. Oh, wow. So if he had a bad meeting, as he's leaving that meeting, it would, it's I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say sticks on you. So he just kind of leave it behind. He envisioned that doorway as kind of the magical way to get rid of that.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
I did too, and that stuck with me a lot. When you leave, just physically consider yourself leaving that situation too. And then you can throw water on your face. That's one of the other things in here. All right, number 4, before we run out of time. Fake it till you make it.
Ooh.
We're back to the turn that frown upside down.
I read a book just a little while ago about the author was saying, be honest. Don't fake it until you be honest. But, I disagreed with that because, again, there's the fact that you've got to, turn your frown upside down. And I think that helps, again, project you into that positive mental attitude so that you are being real because you are working at your mindset. Yeah. And so, I think you can fake it till you make it because, again, it's all about giving that positive impression. Yeah.
Well, instead of fibbing, so maybe we could twist this around a little to achieve both. So you could fake it till you make it and still be honest. So, and I have to check myself on this all the time. Hey, Rob, how are you? And you'd be like, here's your honest. Oh my gosh, my legs hurt. I was curling and I did all this and I'm hurting and I could barely walk. Or it could be, oh my gosh, I made it here. Despite all of my, old knees and my feet hurting, I am rocking, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I like that.
So we could find the way to
That's still-
champion that.
Right. No, I like that.
And turn it into a positive that lifts other people up without being dishonest,
Yeah.
without fibbing and saying, oh, I'm good.
Right.
Life is good. And positive self-talk, certainly. So number 5, have an exit strategy if needed. So now they're saying, okay, you tried to fake it till you make it. Ain't working.
Not working.
Get out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't bring other people down.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is right. If you're not in the right mindset, get out of there. Don't even go there. You've got to, people don't want to be around negative people.
Yeah.
People are going to, back off away from you. So it's going to do more harm than good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. And I say, put a big plaster that smile on, just, 5 seconds longer and say, hey, I got to scoot, and then get out and then be frowny. Because if you just say, oh, I'm not really feeling like it. I tell you what, people have done that to me and it really weighed on me because then I was worried about them.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So it didn't it like distracted me instead. And so I say, hey, if you're not feeling it, just say, hey, I need to scoot.
Yeah.
And then leave. And then as friends, right, we're in a professional circle, call that person back and say, hey,
Sure.
I want
Yeah.
to,
Great.
be honest
Yeah.
with them
Yeah.
personally and
Right.
not in that, hey, I'm so sorry I had to bail, but man, I was not, I was ready to throw up my lunch or whatever.
Right.
I really wasn't feeling good.
Absolutely.
So that's it. Did we cover it all?
I think we did, and I think it's again. I think it's important for people to understand is that have the right positive mental attitude, have the right mindset, and then have the game plan. Some of the tips that you've given us. I think again we have to be prepared when we go into those networking events.
But physically, you can move yourself then into the better emotional space by
Absolutely.
physically standing taller, smiling more, look in the mirror and say, hey, am I looking happy?
Right. Not just a good reminder. Again, that's where we got to prepare ourselves, right?
That's right. So next time I see you,
All right.
you'll be honest and happy. That's right. It's good. Okay, so
All right, here we
Cheers.
go. Cheers.
Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
faster. We'll see you next week.